So 5 ways to improve your rejection process. So today we're going to learn about a couple things. Why you should care about the rejection process. I'm going to go over 5 tactics to implement a better rejection process. I'll show you companies who are doing it right, some real world examples that I really love. And at the end, I'll talk about Javafi. It's a product that we own at RegTech Media. And I think it's a better way to reject applicants overall. So we'll go over that quickly as we go along. It'll probably be a short show today, probably a half hour or so. So we'll get you back to your daily duties, whatever you're up to. All right, so why you should care about the rejection process? Well, it's really because candidates deserve better, if you think about that. So first off, candidates can still impact your company brand even after they get rejected. And they'll do that through things like email, review sites, word of mouth. I have one client who will send out rejection messages. And sure enough, he always gets some job seekers emailing back, hey, why did you reject me? I thought I was qualified, blah, blah, blah. And he hates that part of the rejection process, right? But there are ways to counteract that, which we're going to talk about today. But I think great recruiters understand the long-term impacts that candidates can have on their company and how they handle rejections thoughtfully overall. All right, so here's a great quote from a guy at Google. And if Google cares about rejection, every company should, right? Follow the leader here. If your rejection process makes a good impression, it's more likely that candidates and their network will stay connected with your brand, both as future job applicants and, depending on your business, even customers. So says Jeff Moore, a Google staffing manager. Great quote, something I think you can all take away with, and keep that top of mind overall. So reason number 2, candidate resentment is up 40%. This is according to the Talent Board. They say employers are seeing a 40% increase in candidate resentment since 2016. And compared to last year, candidates are less likely to apply to the same company, again, based on their experiences. They're also less likely to recommend the company to others, right? So they're really, this rejection process, black hole, they're really getting to them. And the numbers are going up here. They're really getting more pissed off overall. Now, this is all before COVID hit. So, I think even in today's environment, it's even more important to care about rejection overall, because a lot of people are unemployed, and there's so much uncertainty out there right now with their jobs and careers, and if or not they're going to be able to work. So, that resentment factor is going up, and it's your job as employers to help move that needle downward. Here's another reason why. So if you go into Twitter today, there's actually some really interesting tweets about rejection out there. I've got a link on a blog post on Javafi.com. There's a link with more of these. But just read this quote here from someone named Wendy Berry I happened to see. Just got a rejection email this morning for a job I applied for 9 months ago. And here I thought I had it in the bag. Frowny face. And she says, try harder, talent acquisition and recruitment, folks. And that's happens way too often in the job search process today. I know a lot of companies are buried in applications, but there is such a thing as a mass rejection email functionality on most ATSs out there, and you need to use that. My last TA job, we probably had 2,000 to 4,000 monthly applications, and I made sure to reject those, within the first few weeks of them coming in. And we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, this is a great example of what's happening out there now and what job seekers are thinking. This is why resentment is up, folks. There's no two ways around it. So keep that in mind. Finally, I think the rejection process, to me, it's your last chance to make a good impression, right? So it is all about the candidate experience. It's your one and final chance to actually let that job seeker down with kindness, with thoughtfulness, and at least make a positive impression with them. Right? It shouldn't be about them walking away mad because you told them no. They certainly still get that, but there's a way to do it in a more thoughtful and kind way that will go towards making a better impression with that candidate overall. All right. And again, they're less likely to, if you do this properly, the less likely to go onto a Glassdoor and rant, or rant on Twitter, or whatever else outlet they have. But these are things that that count as far as the impressions that job seekers have once you do say no to them. All right, so let's go into tactics to implement here. And these are all really designed to turn candidates into allies overall. You can do that with a proper rejection process. The first part is timing. You want to tell them quickly, but thoughtfully. If they've done a phone screen or an in-person interview, my guideline is 24 to 48 hours after that. It's really important to follow up quickly, I think, with the seeker, particularly if they actually spent time coming to your office or taking time out to do a phone screen overall, right? That's the least you can do, right? It's being respectful of their time that they put in, and a quick and timely response after that is required. And if you don't interview them, if it's just a mass rejection, I like to do it within at least 7 to 10 days, right? That's kind of my guideline. There's no rules here, but these are good guidelines to go by. Even if it's been like 30 days for a mass rejection, that's cool too. But as long as you do it in some form of timely manner here, I think you should all have your recruiters for the recs they own. It should be part of their monthly duties. Go in there, reject every candidate they're not going to hire. There's a couple companies that do that as part of the recruiting job itself. Their names escape me. Jerry Crispin told me once, but make your recruiters go in and reject. It should be part of their job. It should be part of the candidate experience at them, and you can hold them accountable to these kind of things. So don't be afraid to do that. There's a great tweet here from a job seeker, which to me goes to the heart of the resume black hole that's out there. So let's read this here. So Joe Riccardi says, experienced something brand new today while searching for a job. I submitted a resume. Within a few hours, I got a rejection email telling me that they are grateful I'm interested in joining the company, but they've moved on in a different direction. That's quick. I like it, he says. Don't give me any hope I might be called for an interview. Let me move on with my day. Hashtag rip the Band-Aid off. That is a well-said statement from a job seeker out there. And I wish every TA leader would actually take this tweet and post it on their wall for their recruiting team to see, because that's what you have to do today. And the reason that's so important is that you're holding up the job seeker when you're not rejecting them in a timely fashion, right? They're out there, they're waiting, if they're really interested in a company, they're sometimes they're putting on hold all their other job search activities, right? You're giving them false hope. Maybe they're going to call me. This is the way to reject, right? I realize you can't do all this that quickly, but within a few hours, like he got, obviously the smaller companies can do that easier. But that's a great quote from a job seeker that gets it. And that's a big reason why you need to care about rejection, right? You're valuing their time more when you actually reject faster overall. And feel free to hold your questions at the end. I can't see the chat at this point, so we can ask questions at the end. So yeah, take that tweet and paste it on your wall. All right, number 2, you want to give feedback as honest as possible. I realize that most of you try not to do that too much. I think at the very least, tell them, look, we found somebody better. That's kind of the standard answer I see a lot in rejection emails. And I've read a lot of rejection emails in the past. So, let them know where they can improve, be as upfront as possible. Delta has an example where for their flight attendants, they go through some kind of online assessment, I think, and they get a scorecard at the end of that assessment. Well, when they reject the seeker based on the assessment, they give a copy of that assessment to the seeker, and it kind of lists all the different skills they were looking for and where the candidate came up short, right? So they're giving feedback, but they're using, it's not personal feedback. It's from it's from a test, basically, or an assessment tool, some piece of software. And so that's their feedback that they give the candidate, right? It lets them at least the candidate can see, okay, here's what they're looking for. I need to improve my areas here. in these particular skills or experience. But it's feedback. It's something, right? Something to take away with, and it helps soften that blow, I think, overall. So be as upfront as you can about their skill sets. I think more than not, they're gonna thank you for being honest. At least I would, anyway. There's probably some out there who wouldn't think that, but even with the your silver medalists and people you do in-person interviews with, I think they deserve even better feedback overall. And by the way, anybody you interview in person or over the phone, I think deserves a phone call as to why you didn't reject. At least the silver medalists, the ones you bring in for the interview, maybe not the phone skills, not the phone screens, but anybody who in-person interviews, give them a call, let them know why they're not moving on. That's kind of a best practice as well at many organizations out there. All right, let's move on to number 3 here. So help them find work is the third thing you can do for rejection. Give candidates resources to continue their job search. Again, they're going to thank you for this kind of information. Javafi does this with our rejection service. CareerArc has a product as well that gives some kind of a job search tips or something like that in there. But it doesn't take much effort to actually find a couple of links for the candidate, or maybe an article that they should read. Whatever it is, give them something, right? Give them something to take away from that experience. Help them find work, right? Send them to an industry job board that you find useful, or some other sites, things like that, or some tips around how they could improve their own interview skills, whatever it is. But give them something back. Help them find other work. At this point, you've told them no, so you don't want to hire them, right? So help them move on. Help them find another place to work. I've had a couple of employers say, "Why would I want to do that?" I'm like, "Well, you rejected them. What do you care what happens to them at that point? At the very least you can do is help them move on and continue their search wherever that takes them, even if it's to a competitor. You said no at that point, right? So you can certainly put them into your talent network, whatever it is, but help them move on. That's to me, that's the nice thing to do. That's the 2020 kindness route for today's environment we're in. And I'm a big believer in giving back to these applicants overall. Okay, number 4, get their feedback. So this is all about using candidate surveys to get more insight into your hiring process, right? You can get a lot of really good data out of this. Find out where you're lacking, where things are slowing down in the process, where the gaps are with these job seekers. Closing that resume black hole again. If you're not after you send that mass rejection email, send them a quick survey link. You probably get 20, 30, 40% participation in that. And just give them 5 or 7 questions. Hey, how is our process? What do you think about it? Where can it be improved? That kind of stuff, right? It's great data if you can put it into use. And that's the key, is putting it into use. I've heard a lot of stories of employers collecting this stuff and it just kind of sits on the shelf. But, if you really care about the candidate experience, you need to be surveying your candidates and finding out what they think in an anonymous, unvarnished fashion here overall. All right. And number 5, make them a customer. So this is really more for consumer-facing companies, a product or a store, for example. So use coupons or discount codes to drive them to your store or website and turn them into a customer. Brother does this. I'll show you an example later. Virgin Atlantic is famous for giving out flight vouchers to all their rejected candidates, which drove about $8 or $9 million in actual flight sales one year. I'm not sure if they still do that or not, but that's a fairly well-known example in the industry I've heard about overall, right? So any way you can turn them into your store or become a customer, do that. It's a win-win for you and them, right? They get a discount, you get a customer, right? And they get, even though you rejected them, you're giving them something of value, right? It says that you value their time that they took to apply. And so a coupon or discount is an excellent way to soften that blow to every candidate who applies to your company. All right, so let's go into a few more companies doing it well. Got some cool examples here for you. And again, turning candidates into allies, which is what this is all about. So this is Brothers example. So this is their rejection email. Shout out to our critics who pointed out. I met Tony, who runs their employer branding in Philadelphia earlier this year before the lockdown. So they do a few different things here with their rejection email, which to me is great. So let's break this down a bit. So I'll read this to you. So it's a very visual email. Of course, it's all branded to them with their logo and products. It says, hey, thank you for considering to pursue an opportunity with Brother in your career journey. We have filled the insert job title here with another candidate whose qualifications more closely match the role. So there's the rejection in a nice way. So we actually found somebody a little bit better. But this is not goodbye, it says. While this may not be your time, we still welcome you with open arms to continue considering us in your career journey. Our talent network is a great way to keep informed of future opportunities. And there's a link there to join that. That's the first thing they do. Then they bring over the coupon, the discount to go buy a printer. I'm not sure how much it is or what they're getting off of that, but they want to help you in your career journey, it says. We know how stressful searching for a new opportunity can be. Whether or not you choose to continue or to consider us in your journey, we still want to do our part to help you move forward. There's a key word there, move forward. We're offering you our employee discount on one of our most flexible and reliable printers. When it's time to print copies of your resume, you kind of tie it into there to the job search. You'll be able to do so quickly, reliably, and from any device. Just another example of Brother at your side. And there's their, I guess, part of their tagline for marketing. So you can claim the discount. And at the very bottom of the email, you can connect them on social media and follow them across the various channels at your choice. So they're doing 3 things in this email, aside from rejecting the candidate. And again, this is going to soften the blow much better than, hey, no, thank you, see ya, right? So great example here from Brother. Quick shout out. Well done. Again, I talked about the Delta example. There's actually a link on the chat to the full article I wrote about. You can get more details around it. So check that out on Javafi.com. Let's see here. This is iCare Partners. So they partnered with Javafi to do their rejection email. Now, what you're looking at here is not the rejection email. It's actually a landing page that there's a link to in their rejection email. Sorry, there's a bug here. And so when the job seeker gets the email, there's a link in there that takes them to this page. And they get a few different things. They have a coupon code, as you can see there, for 50% eyeglasses. They run a bunch of eye care centers across the Midwest. We give them a job search course by email they can sign up for. So every day for 7 days in a row, they get an actual email written by a career coach around resumes, interviews, tips, job search tips overall. So we give them that. And there's they get the coupon code. And there's a bunch of other links and things to tools and job sites to help them go into their job search wherever it takes them overall. So that's one more example of another company doing it right. Hilton and Home Depot, I've heard they both give gift cards to in-person interviewees. I think the Hilton one, it's like a gold card they give you, and that basically gives you a bunch of discounts to any Hilton property across the world. And they've made millions off of this as well. I believe they only give it to their silver medalist candidates, the ones that they do in-person interviews with, who they really like. But it's actually generated sales out of it, which is a great thing. And turning that candidate into a customer, making them an ally, right? Even though they didn't hire them, they actually value them so much that they want to essentially give them free money for going to a Hilton property overall. So nice job with them. Deloitte does this as well. Upon rejection, they help candidates find another job, update their resume, and offer interview coaching. I guess they use CareerArc's product, and Deloitte has seen great returns on their reviews. So, all these big companies are realizing the fact that rejection counts, and you can give back. You can do it with kindness and thoughtfulness, and help the job seeker move on. So, I really applaud all these guys for doing this stuff. And these examples are hard to find out there. I mean, there isn't a lot of companies that that I think care a lot about rejection, but they really should, because to me it's the last part of the hiring process, and again, it's your last chance to make a good last impression with that candidate. All right, let's talk about Javafi quickly, a better way to reject. So I came up with this idea probably a year and a half ago. It's in place now with about a dozen employers. And what it does is basically it puts a link inside of an offer inside of your existing email templates that are in your ATS already. So you send us a copy of those ATS templates. We insert our offer in there, and you can see one here. It says, "As a thank you for taking the time to apply, we've teamed up with Javafi.com to help you boost your job search skills. Just click here to access a free job hunting course, complimentary job search tools, and more." And then we link them out to that landing page I showed you with iCare, where they can go and sign up for the different the course and click on all the links to resources that will help them move on in their job search overall. So that's in a nutshell what it is. So it's just an offer to a landing page, and it works with your existing ATS. No matter what ATS you have, as long as there's an email in there that we can put the link into, it works. So it's the easiest piece of HR tech you're ever going to come across, I think. Here's the again, landing page. This one's for Electricals, which is in the IT industry. We've actually customized their page as well. You can see it has their logo up there, of course. So since they're in tech, they have a lot of tech seekers. We found a bunch of resources around technology we send them out to. So career lessons for people in technology, 55 of the best tech and IT job boards, right? So we linked to those articles as well, and resources for the candidate to help them continue on in their search overall. And then we send the employer's monthly stats report around how it's being used. You can see here just the activity happening on a daily basis as they send out their rejection emails, and how often it's visited and things like that. So to me, this is a win-win for both the candidate and the employer. I've got clients on Javafi now who are getting thank you emails from job seekers because they went to their Javafi page and saw all the resources that we gave them. It's essentially like outplacement for the rejected. Think of it that way, is what we're trying to do here. And so they're getting thank you emails from job seekers. So, if instead of getting complaining emails, put something like this in place and get a thank you email from a job seeker. That's the way to do rejection. So to recap, again, send a rejection within 24 to 48 hours if it's an in-person interview. Give feedback, get feedback, help them move on, help them find other work with different resources, incentivize them to be a customer, let them join the talent network or following social media, and potentially Jabify them. Jabify is only $120 a month. It's a monthly service, pay as you go, cancel anytime. So feel free to go check that out at Javafi.com. Schedule a demo with me. It takes 10 minutes, and I'll teach you more about how to reject better overall. So that's it for today, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed this. It's a half hour, quick presentation today. Let me get out of here so I can see the chat and get back to that. Stop sharing. All right. So what did you guys think? Yum Brands does this as well, says Tanya. Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell. Cool. Where they give you like a free taco? That'd be cool. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I have heard that before. We do have a question. Is there such a thing as rejection given too fast? So that's a great question, Christina. I think, yes, there is. I think you saw that one example of that job seeker who got one within a couple of hours. I think too fast would be like, 10 minutes after you applied. That's too fast. I would say 2 hours is good. 1 hour might be too fast too, but 2 hours I think is the quickest you should do it. That's a great question. Thanks for that. Yeah, too fast. Too fast, says William Uranga. Yes, recently validated too. 48 hours, 2 work days. Good. Nice. Awesome. Well, again, next week will be the virtual hiring event one with hfull.ai. This replay will be available on the same link if you want to go back and watch it again in a couple minutes. I'll also put it out to our YouTube channel. Oh, we got some more questions here. Let's see here. So we answered that one. Comment. A lot of recruiters do not understand how to set their ATS to send rejections. Right, Tanya. So every ATS should have an email template form in there in the email section. It's going to vary across ATSs out there. So ask whoever manages your applicant tracking system to go in there and look at this. And by the way, you should, I think every year you should actually look at all your communications across your ATS system, all the thank you emails, all the welcome emails, all kind of stuff, and just relook at those and kind of clean them up a bit, because they usually need a little bit of work. A lot of times they come as a template from the ATS company, which, let's be honest, it's not actually the most well thought out type of email for the candidate. So it's really, words do matter to job seekers, and I would encourage you all to go out and revamp all your communications that are automated in all your systems to candidates. It's just going to make you look a lot better. Again, you can put your branding in there a lot of times. So some ATSs don't have the ability to do a lot of branding on the emails. I think I ran into one ATS. It was a fairly modern one too, and they couldn't actually embed a link in their rejection email, or creating kind of HTML or formatting. But for the most part, you can, and I think it's an important thing to do. To take away from this is go back and show that tweet on the email. The link to the presentation's up on the chat here. William says, we make a point to phone all live, not just leave a voicemail. Good. On-site now video stage, candidates that we reject. Very good. Good job, William. Love to hear that. I think a lot of companies are getting the message that rejecting counts, but still too few out there that do a poor job out of it overall. So definitely share this with your colleagues. Appreciate y'all coming today, and we'll see you next Thursday, I guess. So that's it for today. Again, thank you all, and see you soon. RecTech Media. Remember, always be recruiting, folks. Take care. See you, William. Bye, Christina.